It's another beautiful day. We welcome you to a new episode of Family and Relationship Fix It. In today's video, we'll be looking at something very interesting: single and ready. I will refer us back to our previous episode, the part 1 of single and ready, where we talked about the man's preparedness and readiness before the arrival of Eve, or before the arrival of the woman. But today we'll be looking at a woman's part of being single and ready. It's a different thing to be single and waiting. Yes. It's a different thing to be single and searching. You can be single and waiting, you can be single and searching, and yet you are not ready. Today we'll be looking at what it takes, the attributes, the characteristics that you see in a woman, a young woman who is ready to become a wife to a man. There are things that the moment you see it, you know that this one is prepared for this wonderful journey. And I will advise you, if you don't see those things in a woman, know she's not ready. And it's a very serious mistake to marry a woman who is not ready for the commitment and responsibilities that is attached to being called Mrs. Being called Mrs. is work. It's very vital for us to note this very crucial point. God did not bring a lady to Adam. God brought a wife, a woman, a female gender who is ready to be committed to a marriage relationship and marriage covenant. In case you're watching this video and you are waiting, probably single and searching, I want you to note these important points that we're going to be treating in this episode. We're going to be talking about the things that when a man sees it, he knows that you are ready. There is a scenario I'm going to paint now. I've had someone brought something to my table. So I've been in a relationship with a young man for the past 6 years, and suddenly he wants to settle down. A lady just came into the picture 6 months ago, and he proposed to her. And she's actually putting it to village people. Fine, we understand that this is Africa, and there is a place of village people in everything we do, according to our mindsets. But when we discussed at length, I noticed it was not actually village people. She was not ready. You can be with a young man in a relationship for 6 years, and everything you do suggests that you are not ready to be a wife. Some will be making some statements that is obvious that they are not prepared. Men are calculative. Men are wise. Men are intelligent. As you are discussing with them, they are reading you. They are reading every of your movements, every of your actions, even your body language. They know who is ready and who is not. It may not actually be that the young man is wicked. There is a possibility that the qualities I'm going to mention now, you don't have them. And that is why he left you for this young woman who just came in 6 months ago. In as much as we know that is wickedness, you cannot hold somebody's daughter down for 6 years and come up with flimsy excuses. 6 years is too long for such nonsense story. But at the same time, you cannot also force somebody to marry a woman who has ill character, who is not prepared, who is not ready, who is coming into your life to make a mess out of it. So women, I want us to take today serious. One of them, like we discussed in the main parts, you must be spiritually prepared. What do I mean by spiritual readiness? This is a situation whereby you have a relationship with God. Yes, very, very necessary. The Bible tells us something in the book of Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. He said, I know the thoughts I have for you, that the thought of good, not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. I prefer that translation. Now, there is something I want us to know as women. Your relationship with God is what guarantees whether He is going to bring a son who is ready for you or not. I will explain that so that it doesn't get us confused. When you have a cordial relationship with God, it's easier for God to orchestrate a meeting between you and another of His son who is ready. to marry. One of the things I know God will not do, if it happens, it's out of human mistake and carelessness. God cannot carry a daughter, a son who is finished and prepared for marriage and give to someone who is not serious. If you notice such imbalanced alignment, know that the human factor played a role in the coming together of these two people. So the spiritual aspect of waiting is something that cannot be overemphasized. Your closeness with God will help you to know the right person to say yes to. Women, we are vulnerable when it comes to marriage. So you are going to take this serious because your life depends on it. The responsibility ahead of us is the kind of responsibility that you cannot afford to make a mistake here. You are going to be submitting to somebody, and it should be someone you can submit to, someone that will make submission easy for you. There are men that is easy to submit to. There are some that is very difficult to submit to them. And in all cases, the moment you yoke yourself with a man, God expects you to do what? Submit to him. So you are going to be wise in making this very choice. And the place of God in settling a daughter cannot be overemphasized. Take it serious. Pray about it. Yes. God may not call you my daughter. Steve is your husband. You may not see him carrying an umbrella under the rain, and you will see yourself in the dream, walking together and walking down the aisle. That sometimes God does not even walk that way. That is just the devil sometimes trying to confuse your destiny. But there is this inner peace you feel. After the spiritual preparedness, you must be prepared emotionally. Women struggle majorly with emotional issues. Our emotions must be put in check. Before you as a young woman should be talking about marriage, praying to God to send you a husband, please make sure that you are emotionally matured, emotionally prepared to carry out the responsibilities that is involved in marriage relationship. A lot of things will come. If you're not emotionally ready, you're going to make a mess of this beautiful process. You're going to make a mess of this beautiful union. Your emotions must be trained. Your emotion has to do with your mind. The Bible said we should renew our mind. As a young woman, you are expected to be in charge of your emotion. It's a school I will want you to attend. Read up books. I would always advise Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer anytime, any day. Go through it. Don't carry those emotional baggages and walk into a man's house. If you do, you're going to be a disaster. Another area of preparedness that as a woman you must take seriously is the physical preparedness. What do I mean by physical preparedness? The Bible said that beauty is vain. A woman that fears God, she shall be praised. When we talk about physical preparedness, most times what most women are interested in is their faces. How to build different layers on their face and make it look like what it is not. That is just the most important thing. The most important thing that God expects from a woman when it comes to physical preparedness is to build yourself a woman who has what it takes to go into a man's house. First of all, in physical preparedness, be ready to live and to cleave. The marriage covenant entails that you live and you cleave. These two things are very important if you want a peaceful home. What do I mean you live? As a woman, it is expected of you that you leave your father and your mother. Physically, the man will live in mind. Yes, the man will live emotionally. We will explain that later on. But physically, the woman lives. You pack your bag, pack your clothes, pack your shoes. Dash out the ones you don't want. Gather all of them and move them into a physical location where the man resides. You are literally living your home, living your comfort, living what you are used to, living what you know. Do you see the responsibility that is ahead of us? You are going to be prepared to leave your father's house. You're going to be prepared to leave your mom, to leave your sisters. You are not forsaking them, you're not abandoning them, no. But you are leaving the house to go into another place, to start another family, to start another generation, to start another lineage. If you want to build a good home, it all starts with your readiness to join a man and build a good home. Your parents, as they're sending you forth, they're sending you into another home to be a daughter, to be a wife to those people. Live with all your heart and start your new family. We cannot be shouting the man should live to his wife, the man should live to his wife, when the woman is not emotionally and mentally ready to start up life with another family. When we start our analysis of the book of Ruth, we're going to be looking at so many things in that scripture. How to manage good relationship with a man, how to maintain a good relationship with your in-laws, how women can live together in peace without problem. God did not call women to be an issue to one another. No. Women are meant to be a support system for one another. When you go into your father's house and go into a new home, the first person that should receive you is the mother and the daughters of your husband's family, and you should also receive them in that light. I'm going to take my time to teach this because I've noticed that most of the marriage issues that I've handled is coming from interference from in-laws. If we know how to balance this relationship matter, if we know how to balance in-laws relationship, most marriages will not fail. We are definitely going to take our time to discuss that. But for the purpose of this video, let's stick to what we are doing. The next aspect a woman has to be prepared before marriage is finance, career. In this 21st century, our man needs a woman who has financial capacity. You may not be so rich, but you have to be doing something, no matter how little. When I was talking about what a man should be doing, I told you that a man should be financially ready for the arrival of the woman, right? You should also come with something on the table. Don't come empty-handed. You can go to a man's house without talent. You don't have talent, you don't have job, you don't have education, you don't have anything. How will you cope? Having education is not even all that there is. You can have education now, you don't have the wisdom to even walk. You must be ready financially. I will advise a young woman, before you get married, have a source of income. I mean physical money. No matter how small it is, it's a support system, and men of our generation value it. We're going to balance that. It doesn't mean you're going to carry the family responsibility while the man folds his hands and you work yourself out both at home and in the office. No. But my sisters, in all you're getting, at least have a little cash in your pocket. You are also permitted, if you wish, to have a very big bank account, very fat one. It all depends on your decision. But what I do not support is at all. I also want us to note something. There are unique names that God addressed her as. God gave the woman these wonderful names as our identity. Number one, God called her female. She's known as the woman. She's known as the wife. She's also known as Eve, and she's also known as the mother. All these names have their uniqueness and their meaning and their origin. Now, there is something about this wonderful creature of God, the woman. God brought us for a purpose, and He called us in accordance to our purpose on earth. There is an office that God gave the woman from the onset. That is the office of a helpmate and the office of companionship. In our next video, we're going to be looking at these two concepts very critically, because if you get it right as a woman, if you know what it means to be a helpmate, if you know what it means to be a good companion to your husband, I am telling you, your family is going to experience heaven on earth, unless you did not practice what we are going to be teaching. Remember, it is your responsibility to submit to a good head. If you submit to the wrong head, you will find submission very difficult. Because I tell you the truth, it is hard to submit to the wrong person. So you must marry right. And for you to marry right, you must be single who is ready and prepared for the arrival of your husband, who happens to be your king and the crown of God over your head. Stay blessed as you anticipate our next episode.